Why do people just love to buy these Jayco travel trailers? Let me give you a few reasons. One reason would be history. Jayco's been around for a very, very long time. In 1968, the Bontrager family got into the industry by inventing the crank-up tent trailer. They would sell them at places like gas stations and RV dealerships, and it really started the brand. And since then, they've gotten into travel trailers, fifth wheels, Class A, B, C, AD motorhomes, pretty much everything. But one of the biggest things that separates Jayco from everybody else is their warranty. So reason number two people love to buy Jayco's is the 2+3 year warranty. Your typical RV warranty is only a year. They may promote other warranties like a lifetime roof membrane warranty, but really the limited warranty is only a year on almost every other travel trailer. And the reason they can do that is they try to build a great product. Reason number three, they're always improving. There's been a lot of problems in the past with Jayco and every other travel trailer, but Jayco does try to continuously upgrade and improve their building, their manufacturing, and their QA. One issue that happened in the past with pretty much everybody is called delamination. So what would happen is the fiberglass skin over top of the wall would eventually, moisture would get in or there'd be air bubbles, and you would start to see bubbles in the fiberglass. This wasn't just a Jayco issue, this was an industry-wide issue, and Jayco's remedy for that was vacuum bonding. The process of vacuum bonding is basically this entire wall panel, okay, is glued on, then it's put into basically like a vacuum sealer like you'd put your steaks in, and it's pumped up to 144 tons of pressure and left in there until the glue is fully cured, around 18 minutes. Then they would cut out the pieces with a router for the windows, and they would do a tear test, which they still do to this day. If the wood behind the fiberglass didn't shred into pieces, they would scrap the whole wall and start over again. Another example of constant improvement and industry-wide issues is COVID. Now, if you've been around the RV business, during COVID was not the greatest time for quality. The demand for RVs was so high that basically companies were pumping them out pre-sold as fast as they could and relying on the dealership to do the final repairs. So what you saw was units on the lot in 2020, 2021 that were very poorly finished. Jayco didn't want to have a reputation for poor quality, so what they did was they built a brand new facility, a massive warehouse strictly for PDI. And every unit coming off the lot had to go through this PDI facility, and if it didn't meet their standards, it got turned around and sent back to the factory. This means it would slow down production lines. So basically the factory was forced to improve their final finish, or else they just have to redo the whole thing all over again. Since then, fit and finish on the dealership has been way better. Next reason why people love Jayco is things like J-Ride Premium. On their motorhomes, they try to improve the ride and handling. A lot of motorhomes are very, very large. They take a lot of beatings from the wind and passing semis, so they try to do what they can to make their vehicles handle a little bit better, such as adding on things like Koni FSD shocks, this BDS lift kit on this Seneca XT, bigger front and rear stabilizer bars. And the fit will really depend on the vehicle and the point of the vehicle. This is more of like a 4x4, so they do a little bit more to this one. Next up is frames. Strong frames matter. Even these price point J-Feather Micros and J-Feather Airs are gonna have a very strong frame. You're gonna see it's gonna have an integrated A-frame where the main A-frame passes right through the box frame. Then it's welded all the way through in multiple points, just giving it a much stronger frame. The next reason is strong roofs matter. Now the roof of these Jayco travel trailers is called a Magnum Truss roof. It's very strong. They did a test a lot of years ago where they took all the main competitors' roofs, lined them all up, and started stacking cinder blocks on top. Jayco's lasted the longest. After all of the competitors failed, Jayco held up to, I believe it was 4,500 pounds, which means you can comfortably walk up here and you're not gonna have to worry about it. Next would be their choice of the different parts that they install. If you look on a Jayco trailer, most Jayco trailers are gonna have really good tires and wheels. These are Goodyear Endurance tires. They're one of the top rated tires for an RV. A lot of the competitors you'll see, no-name tires, and sometimes they don't even make it to the dealership, to be honest with you. Sometimes they blow on the way from the factory. So when you put together, a good history, a history of constantly improving, a great warranty, a wide variety of different types of products from small trailers to big Class A motorhomes, You can see why Jayco is very, very popular, and next time you go to a campsite, you might just see 2, 3, 4, or 10 of them as you're driving through. Now, I won't say they're perfect. Nobody's perfect, but I own a Jayco travel trailer, and I absolutely love it. But I want to know what you think. Have you ever had a Jayco? Do you have friends who have a Jayco? Would you ever buy a Jayco? Let me know in the comments, and if you like this information, give me a subscribe. Thanks a lot.